The best family game should appeal to gamers of all ages and abilities. We have a couple of runner-ups for this category, starting with Nintendo Switch Sports. As I think about this category, I always refer back to my own family as a point of reference, and my siblings and I had a decent time playing the successor to the Wii Sports series. It brings back those days of more people getting into the game with the intuition of the motion control matching the real-life sport. Now, Nintendo Switch Sports is not winning the award this year on account of it drops the ball in a few places, mostly with the lack of sporting variety for the type of release that it is. The addition of online play also means it's possible to play with family members who do not live in the same house as you. My other honorable mention is Kirby and the Forgotten Land. This is a game that a few people in my family tried out this year. Kirby's first foray into 3D platforming makes it a much grander adventure than any 2D Kirby game. And this may not seem intuitive, but I feel like 3D platforming has more broad appeal than the 2D platformers. 2D platforming, you tend to think that there's more technicality going on with the types of jumps you need to pull off or the obstacles you need to navigate. But 3D is more reminiscent of the world we live in. Humans exist in a three-dimensional world, and so navigating that might just feel a bit more intuitive. Or at least that's how it seems to me. Because then you have someone like my mom playing a Kirby game for the first time because this one is in 3D, like the Mario 3D games that she also likes. Kirby is fun, it's colorful, it has a couple of difficulty options that can make it easier on a newer player, and it has the two-player co-op with Bandana Waddle Dee, so you can always have a second family member jump in to help out. But the winner for the best family game of 2022 is the one that practically everyone in my family played this year: Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Pokemon has always had a place in families, especially with the two-version release strategy. Different family members can play different versions and can exchange with each other for exclusive Pokemon, and so there is an inherent charm there. In Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, you can also join up and explore the same copy of the Paldean world together, which is a first for the series. But what elevates Pokemon's Generation 9 games to the pedestal of best fit for families is the new open world approach. As, like I said with Kirby and the Forgotten Land, you seem to gain more broad appeal for having this open three-dimensional world that you navigate like our real one. So now, not only is the family having different experiences depending on which version they picked, but they can also have vastly different experiences even within the same version of the game, just by going a different direction on the map, trying to go to different places, fulfilling any of the game's different missions, trying to fill in the Pokedex. Honestly, it got into a little bit of a heated competition with my brother very quickly playing through Violet as I was wrapping up Scarlet, and he kept asking me if I beat the game yet, did I catch all the Pokemon? He hasn't been that enthusiastic about a Pokemon game ever since, I'm gonna say Generation 5 was probably the last one he was super into. He owned Pokemon Y, but he kind of passed that copy along to me, as he fell off the series around that time, and he never played Sun, Moon, Sword, Shield. So there's a nice simplicity to just being able to wander around, see a Pokemon that you haven't caught yet, and make an attempt to catch it. You don't necessarily have to do everything in the game right away, and if you need to stop and level up a bit just by filling in your Pokedex, which is already satisfying in its own way, then they can do that. So many Pokemon have become mascots that it's easy for those unfamiliar with the games to jump in just based on the look of the whole thing. Look at that little cute monster over there, or that fierce one off in the distance. Not to mention your rideable companion this time around, either Koraidon or Miraidon, depending on your version. Adds a nice sense of progression to the game. It gives you a little traveling buddy the whole way through. So yeah, Paldea is just a very well put together world in terms of inviting people in. Now that said, you're going to have to look past the major technical issues, but even despite those, so many people in my family have played and beaten Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, and that is why I must name it the best family game of 2022.